Alrighty, good morning. So, I haven't been e-biking too much. I did get a couple of motorcycle rides in, as you may have noticed. I did a round trip to Hawthorne, and then last week I did a unplanned trip to Beatty, Nevada, which really was awesome, except for the wind. Yeah, nobody enjoys the wind, but and I wasn't really prepared. I mean, once I got out in the desert, I was like, wow, I don't have that, but it did go uneventful. The temperature was awesome for the most part. Definitely not too hot, but not too cold. And just very enjoyable. This morning I'm trying wind reduction. There is no wind out here, but I'm trying wind reduction on this camera. It's probably gonna sound very monotone. I've never tried it before, and as you heard in the past, the wind was interfering kind of with the audio, and I never actually turned on the wind reduction, so I'm just trying it out this morning. I got to get back to some e-bike riding. It just helps out with your circulation and with your legs also. Woohoo! We've got a giant loop rally in about a month and a half, or a little over a month and a half, which is going to be really fun for 4 days. And then after that, I believe a friend and I, Greg, maybe I can round up some others to do the trip to Vegas. And we'll take, it just depends, but we'll do probably 4 or 5 days trip to Vegas and back. Take camping gear and then probably stay in a motel in Vegas. We'll just see how that pans out, but probably doing it in June. My daughter, Angelique, who lives in Vegas, says it'll probably be cooler in Vegas in June than in August, which will help. I mean, I don't really mind the heat. I mean, it can get hot. I attest to that, but I'll do it any time of the year. But it is better if it's cooler, especially if I'm riding with people. I don't know how they can take the heat, so I've been doing radio stuff, antennas with my friends, and working on my antennas and trying to get stuff together, so I haven't been e-biking much. E-biking, we're still trying to work on repeaters, but that's kind of gone on the wayside for a moment. My first experiment didn't really pan out. Some glitches there, so I'm trying some other stuff, waiting for some stuff to come in from our friends at AliExpress, Amazon. I think I'm getting a cable today. But anyway, we're kind of been playing with antenna tuners. I've got a cheap China antenna tuner. It works pretty well, actually. The display goes out on it every now and then. And I got to turn it off and turn it on, but for what it is, for what it costs, it actually tunes pretty well. I mean, you can't expect it to do a lot, but it does pretty good for what it is. I am looking for a better one on eBay, a used one that will be better, maybe more suited to more bands. I have a little bit of trouble tuning 80 meters. Doesn't tune 80 meters real good. It tunes it within operating statistics, but SWR, but doesn't tune it real well. Loves 40 meters. It tunes 40 meters like no problem. Flat match on 40 meters. 10 meters, it'll do pretty good. But it loves 40 meters even more than 10 meters. And I've got a 10 meter antenna, so it's kind of weird. But it's all right. It works. I did find an antenna tuner on eBay. A used one. That's a LDG. I like the MFJ stuff. I know their quality on the case and stuff usually isn't very good, but MFJ made a lot of cool, interesting stuff, and a lot of times it works pretty good. Even though the appearance of it looks like maybe it got beat with a hammer. But anyway, we'll see how this LDG antenna tuner works when I get it. I know the guy who put it up for auction said he didn't think the power meter was reading correctly, which means it could have an issue, the unit could have an issue, or maybe the guy's antenna had an issue, or maybe he really didn't test it very well. You never know. Ah. You know, you gotta keep riding every week. And I let a few weeks go by without riding. Yeah. Makes a difference fast for me. Yeah. Woo. Okay, that's the steepest part. Woo! Yeah, if I don't ride anything else, I just need to ride that every morning. Oh boy. Okay. Woo! Well, if you go back a few videos where I came out here last time, you can tell I'm way more winded this time than last time. You know, you get out of shape fast. Doesn't take much. And you're huffing and puffing again. Woo! Okay. It'll be somewhat mild now. Woo! I know, steeper than it looks on the camera. That's always the way it is. Doesn't look steep at all on the camera. But it'll give you a leg workout and cardio, even with electric assist. A non-assisted mountain bike, of course. Would have a lower first gear. Yeah, that's pretty good. So anyway, playing with radios and ham radio stuff. I've got one more test to take. Amateur extra. Then I'll have more band privileges. I don't know if I'll get that done by the beginning of next month. Well, nobody's cleaned that up yet. By the beginning of next month. It's about 1 month away. I might be ready, but we'll see. But getting the bikes ready, you know, I need to get a rack for the Husqvarna. The XR is ready to, it's got a rack and it's got an extra gas can on it, so it's ready actually to take camping. I just got to organize my camping gear. You know, I stayed in a motel in Beatty on my trip last time, but you know, it was a third more expensive than it was last year. And that could have been because I walked in off the street and didn't do a reservation, you know, a couple days before. I'm not sure, but all I know was it was more expensive, so. If I would have had my tent and a mattress, I would have just camped outside of Beatty. And I probably would have stayed out in the desert a couple more days, just kind of exploring. I wouldn't have been tied to a time frame, right? I don't mind riding in the dark. It's a little, should I say, it's a little more precarious to ride on the south side of Tonopah because I don't live over there and I don't ride that as much. A little worse riding over there in the dark than on my side of Tonopah where I know everything because I ride it a lot. But I still don't mind. I mean, when I rode into Beatty, surprisingly enough, I wasn't that tired and I could have gassed up and turned right around and started riding back. Would have been a lot slower going, of course, because it's in the dark. Everything looks different in the dark, so. And that's the other thing is I changed phone service about 3 months ago. And when I changed phone service, I got a new phone. I don't have one track file. I got a GPS on here. I don't have one of my old track files on this phone. So that's the other thing, in the dark, with no track files, it could be kind of tricky. You know, I can ride this side of Tonopah in the dark. I don't use track files, no problem. But yeah, the other side, there's some Ys in the road that you can easily take in the dark that'll take you a completely different direction. So you won't realize it till you're 40 miles going the wrong way. As you can see, I got my carbon fiber toed Crocs on. Ha ha ha. I wish they'd make some carbon fiber toed Crocs. That'd be the bomb. My feet are all busted up from a lot of things. I never wore shoes. I hated shoes. I'd go barefooted everywhere, which means I've broken toes more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. Snowboarding and skiing didn't help that either with messed up toes. And then motorcycles. I broke all the bones in this foot. and broke it again. And so circulation in this foot isn't very good, but it is what it is. That's why I gotta keep moving. You just sit down. See, right now, things that hurt me when I get up in the morning do not hurt like right now. Nothing hurts. You know, you got your focus someplace else. So I'm watching the road. You know, your focus has changed. So when I'm on the e-bikes or I'm on the motorcycles, nothing hurts. When I'm at home and I'm sitting in my nice comfy chair, I hurt. My feet hurt. My butt hurts. My hip hurts. All of those things that I've smashed up on motorcycles and stuff. If you're just sitting around, it hurts. So that whole rant of my ride is don't sit around, you're just gonna hurt. Every time my friends tell me they're hurting, I say, you need a dirt bike. Now I say, oh, nice. You need a dirt bike or an e-bike. Get a mountain bike, electric assisted mountain bike. You know, the more you exercise, you know, if you go to the gym or even just do it at home, doesn't feel good while you're exercising, but you feel better afterwards. And it doesn't take much. I slacked off since last summer. I've said that before in my videos because my kids moved in with me, grandchildren, and that's awesome, but you know, we spend a lot of time sorry, checking the camera, it's making noises. I know it stopped a 29-minute clip and started another one. But it's recording, I believe. Yep. So anyway, kids moved in, got them moved in, but you know, my focus was other places, so I wasn't exercising religiously, as they would say. I wasn't, man. But I gotta get back at least for the next month and a half before Giant Loop and going to Vegas. You know, my trip to Beatty, surprisingly, my trip to Beatty, I wasn't tired. I didn't get tired. I had plenty of energy. I wasn't sore afterwards. Everybody was, are you sore? Are you wore out? No. Nope. Like I said, if I would have had a tent packed up, I probably would have stayed out in the desert for 4 days instead of 2. The bike did okay. No issues there other than seeping oil. I hate that part. I don't think my mechanic did what I paid him to do. Yeah, that's usually how it is, huh? I don't think he did what I paid him to do. But it works. I love the XR. The XR is awesome. It's heavy, you know, but that weight actually makes it more stable in sand. You know, it doesn't wallow as much. Tracks pretty good in sand. And I think the suspension does pretty good, you know. What, it's a 23-year-old bike. The suspension's never been touched on it. But, you know, it works. Probably could use a tune-up or an oil change, but it works. I can bottom the rear suspension out, but I gotta hit something hard to do that. I gotta hit something hard to do that. You know, but just getting out and being on an e-bike, even though it's assisted, you know, moving your limbs, you know, keep circulation through your body. You want blood running to everything. So, you know, what goes first when stuff starts going? It's your legs. Your legs goes first. Keep those legs moving. Yeah, so I think yeah, so which one is the road? I think it's this one. Huh. Yeah, so we won't go all the way to VC because I've ridden this battery a couple times. And it'd probably make it because I turned it off going down 6 Mile. But like I said, I've gone on a couple round the block rides with the kids, so I know I don't have a full battery. So It's looking pretty good, but I'm just gonna go this way and go down. But everybody, you'd be surprised what hurts you have that would disappear all of a sudden when you're out exercising or riding an e-bike, or if you're inclined to riding a dirt bike. You'd be surprised what disappears. Of course, if you haven't exercised, you're going to be sore for a week or so. You know, but after that, you're just going to be like, wow, I've got all kinds of energy. I feel good. Even hiking, don't take hiking out of the equation. I love these little shacks. I lived in one like that up here. They're awesome. Awesome little shacks. Air chute to the mines. These hills are combed with mines. Every now and then, if you follow Virginia City history, there's mine shafts that cave in. You can't even see the bottom. I had that happen in my yard with the little cabin I was talking about. My driveway caved in, and the side yard, and you could throw rocks in there and you wouldn't even hear them hit anything. And then they come and backfill it, right? And you know, they're not filling the hole up from the bottom to the top. They just push rocks in there and stuff, and then, you know, someday in the future it'll cave in again. Plus, doing this kind of stuff helps your balance. You know, and you want to keep your balance for a lot of things. But anyway, I hope somebody watches the videos. My rant and ride, those are my rants. Trying to think of other stuff to rant about. You know, keep praying over our government and over world issues. Pray for Jerusalem and Israel. Prayer changes things. Every single prayer. Is answered. You know, it's God's will be done, not ours, but every single prayer has a result. May not be immediate, but no prayer goes unanswered in some form. But we need that, you know. So it's easy to get caught up in conflict and everything that's going on. But if you're not praying over things, you're not part of the solution to anything, period. So if there's stuff you don't like, then you should be praying about it. But like I said, and like the Bible said, you know, it's God's will be done, not ours. No, I can't remember if I came up this one. I think I did. Or that one. Which one? Which one? I know I come up a steep hill. And, yeah. See, I can't even remember. I'll go down this one, and if this ain't right, I guess I'll be coming back up this. Pretty sure this is the way I gotta go, though. See, it's always changes. It's always different when you do it backwards. That's what I'm talking about. It's no problem coming the other direction, but yeah, now I'm going backwards, so. So I do, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it because of this trench over here. I'm usually on the other side. Come on, Jeep. And I've got my seat up pretty high, which you shouldn't have it up that high when negotiating up and down hills with rocks. Should have your seat lower in case you gotta get off the bike or get off the pedal. But I know these are long videos. I haven't mastered making a 10.5-hour video into 20 minutes, you know. Those are the kind of videos that people don't mind watching. You know, I just have trouble doing that. You know, I should make 2 videos from my videos. Make a 20-minute video, and then if somebody wants to watch more, then you can watch more. You know, but when I broke in my Husqvarna and I made a long video, which was, I think it was over an hour long, and then I made a 20-minute short video, everybody watched the long video. So there. You know, but I like watching my videos. I watch them every day just because if I'm not out riding, I can feel like I'm out riding. If I'm working on radio stuff or doing something in my room, I can put on the video and pretend I'm out riding. Look at this. This got muddy since the last time I was here. Looks like it rained and got trenched out a little bit. And there we go. That's a nice shorter loop. All right. So that's not bad. That's a shorter loop to do. Actually, I'd get more exercise, and I probably will, is go up that road, climb up those mountains as part of this direction, and then come down the truck route. That'll give me more leg exercise. That's probably what I'll do here in a week or so. But anyway, so this is under an hour, but encroaching, is that right? Encroaching probably 45 minutes, so I'm going to turn it off for now. Turn it on when I get closer to the house, so maybe I'll think of something else that I should have been ranting about. My biggest rant, always, get out and exercise. Really, if you're my age, get out and exercise. Because I can tell you, for real, I know, you sit around, it just gets worse day by day. The injuries you suffered before just start hurting. Get out and exercise. Keep moving. That doesn't mean go to protest. Go to paid protest, yeah. That's what they want to do. You get these people messaging you on Facebook, hey, we want to be your friend. Hey, you want to show up here? No, I don't. Alright guys, sorry I said I was stopping this for now. It's like a 45-minute video already. Thanks for watching if you're watching. And just so you know where we are, Carson City is over there. Dayton, of course, is over there, and right there is Mound House. So we're in between Dayton and Carson City, and I'm going to Dayton. Hallelujah. Alrighty, so I'm almost home here. But I've got a little bit of a rant to talk about. It's pretty funny to finish out this video. So as you know, riding bicycles, mountain bikes, and motorcycles, your most important brake, the most effective brake, is your front brake. Well, here's something I just experienced that is bringing me to this little rant before I get home. Is on a motorcycle, you know, we're all taught that your front brake is has your most stopping power, is your most important brake to use and master. Well, on the motorcycle, the mass of weight, all right, is down low. So you have that motor, you know, and then the shock and the suspension back there is all behind the front wheel. And that weight there is pushing the front wheel through obstacles. So even though you're braking with the front brake and you're using a lot of force there to stop, you have that weight advantage, right? So it's going to push you through obstacles. It's going to push you through ditches. It's going to push you through rocks. You know, if you hit a rock with the front wheel, that weight's going to help push the front wheel through it. The weight and the momentum. Well, on a mountain bike, you don't have that weight. You don't have any weight down there behind the front wheel. So you're top heavy. And so when you have a lot of pressure, brake pressure on that front wheel, and that front wheel comes up against a rock or a trench or a ditch, it doubles that brake force. You don't have any weight behind that front wheel to push it through that obstacle because you have a high center of gravity. You're top heavy because you're the weight and all the weight is high. So why I'm saying that, you know, I was coming down my hill back there, and I was coming down slowly, but I was kind of not focused on the road, and I was more focused on how my day was going to play out today. And I, using front and back brakes, but I came up against a rock coming downhill, and it threw all my weight, because that increased the braking pressure of the front wheel. That threw all my weight. I actually hit my knee on the handlebar here, and that was a, you know, that would have been a over the handlebars moment if I would have had more momentum and I wasn't going slow. You know, usually when you see obstacles like that, you gotta have way less front brake pressure and let that front wheel roll over those obstacles and not brake over those obstacles. Well, anyway, that's my rant. So I'm at home. Have a good day. Later.